We're back. Big Brothers from Inglewood podcast once again coming to you live and direct. We want to say thanks for sharing with this platform. We want you to like, share, and subscribe so that we will be able to bring you content consistently on this Facebook Live as well as YouTube channel. We want to say thanks to the Coalesce Group for all that you're doing in the educational community. Thank you for helping our youth and our administrators and all of the things that you have created to help our young people develop. And to the Fruit Off the Vine Clothing Apparel, thank you so much for allowing us to partner with your brand. We are ecstatic about the things that you're doing with women and young girls, helping them with their self-esteem and their motivation. We just say kudos to you, and it is a pleasure to partner with you at this time. I'm Hoopie. This is Charley Mack, my co-host. We come in with some content. I'm not going to belabor the time. And before I introduce the topic, I'm going to throw it to Charley Mack and let him holler at you.
Yeah, Facebook family in the building. Here to give it to you guys like we try to do weekly. This is kind of what we do. We just try to keep it 100 and give you guys something that you can relate to, and things that we talk about on the platform and things that people can relate to. We try to stay away from politics, and we try to stay away from controversial subject matter. So without further ado, put the seatbelts on, guys. We're about to give you that work.
Well said, bro. Again, interesting topic. Subject matter should be a blast. I think a lot of people will feel this content and be able to apply it, to their personal situations as well as their personal lives. The subject that we're going to talk about today is who's first.
Who's first, baby?
Who's first?
Not who's on first. Who's first?
Right. And you're probably wondering, like, okay, well, what does that mean? What does that constitute? Well, we're talking about relationships. Who's actually first in that couple's relationship? What is the priority? Who is the priority? How do you manage those relationships, and what goes into them in respect of like we talked about it before, pecking order.
The pecking order.
What is the pecking order of a relationship? And some of you guys, I can just hear you now. You're like, whoa, what about a relationship? Marriage? Are you talking marriage? Are you talking about boyfriend, girlfriend? The crazy thing is, we're just saying simply that there is a level of communication. There's a level of cohesiveness and togetherness that has to be on display.
Yes, sir.
In order for you to be totally successful. Okay, I didn't say perfect, but successful in your relationship, you kind of have to set up some parameters. And so I'm gonna throw it to you, let you get a stab at it, and we can dialogue a little bit more about it.
Okay. When I thought about the topic and I said who's first, in particularly marriage.
Okay.
Who's first? Because people will say, well, you're just my boyfriend or you're just my girlfriend, so why should I put you, first, second, third, whatever the case may be. But I'm talking about in particularly when you marry your husband or your wife, who's first? Who's first? That's what I'm talking about when I bring up the word who's first. And for me in particularly, I think, well, I know that if you're in a marriage and your wife should come before your mother and everybody else. Yeah. Your husband should come before your mother, your father, and whoever else. Because you guys married each other.
Yeah.
You didn't marry it, you guys married each other. When the lights go down and the sun go down at night and you guys are at home alone, it's just you two.
Yeah.
So I think there's relationships where the husband puts the wife third or fourth. The wife puts the husband 6th or 7th. You know,
Yeah.
I know because I've been in those type of relationships where I was put probably in mine. I think I was probably like 12th
in the marriage.
I was probably 12th. You know, I probably wasn't even nowhere near being number one. And I think there's a lot of animosity and a lot of controversy that can come from that. Whether the wife is putting the husband, you know, way down the pecking order, or the wife is putting, or the husband is putting the wife down the pecking order. So I just think people need to know that when they marry each other, and they need to make sure that they're both number ones.
I got you.
And nobody else. You know, the kids come second. You know what I'm saying? The kids come second. The husband is first. His needs should be taken care of. The wife needs should be taken care of first before anything else.
That's true.
Then the kids, then whoever else.
No, that's true. That's a fact. Because I think a lot of people, and you know, I'm not going to play devil's advocate, but I will say that, you know, there are non-religious people, and that's fine, because your standard may be a little bit different.
Right.
I get that, and hopefully you've kind of conveyed those things with your spouse prior to marriage.
Right.
So now you're on the same page, right? And I think a lot of times we don't talk about what this pecking order will be. We don't talk about you know, what the role. I think we talked about this briefly, what the roles will be. But getting to your point as being first, meaning we should determine what the priority is, right?
Yeah.
And from a religious scope, we've been trained to understand that the pecking order is this. It's God first. It's husband, wife, children, work, or you know,
Right.
you know. So
Right.
so it's like 5 components there.
Yep.
And a lot of people, they don't respect that. Okay, let's just say you're not religious. So okay, you're not gonna make God number one because that's not a priority. But you still should make one another number one.
Right.
So your husband is the priority over everybody, over your mom, your dad, your siblings, your cousins, your best friend.
Yeah.
You know, that's my bestie. Okay, well, your husband is above those, individuals. Your wife is above those individuals. And look at this, bro. You shouldn't discuss your business with anybody outside of
The
your
relationship.
spouse.
Yeah.
You know, there's some things you don't even tell your children.
Yeah.
And they're some of the closest people to you in the world.
Right.
But there's some things you gotta understand you don't even tell your children.
Right.
So I think the problem is we don't establish who's first.
Right.
We assume.
Right.
That's why sometimes it creates an uneasiness when it's time to go do something.
Right.
Well, you were with your friends last week, and
Right.
blah blah blah, and then you feel slighted because it's almost like, well, you didn't think to come to me and ask me what did I want to do, or if we had plans. See, to me, that's the setup from the start. You didn't establish me as that guy.
Right.
I didn't establish you as that one.
Right. Yeah. Right. Yeah. And it's funny you say that because we have a mutual friend who we won't say his name, but if he's listening, I've been trying to get at him for a minute so he can come hang out with me so I can go ahead and give him a tongue lashing. But I'm gonna go ahead and lash him a little bit on live, but I ain't gonna say his name. But we both love this dude, and we grew up with this guy. And coming from me, I know him and I know his wife, and you do too.
Okay.
And I'm just speaking to him at this particular time right now, and I'm speaking to his wife. The both of you guys need to understand that's where the breakdown happened in their marriage, because the guy we know wasn't making his wife number one.
Yeah.
And that's why a lot of the problems was occurring, because
Yeah.
he was putting somebody else as number one when he should have put his wife as number one.
Yeah.
And vice versa. If that's what she did, the same thing with her as well. I'm not speaking from a perspective like I'm a expert in relationships or if I'm some sort of marriage counselor, but I do know what works in a relationship. It's common sense.
You've been in it.
It's common sense.
So,
if you've been in it and you've lived it, then you know it. You know, and I can't speak from a place when I haven't been in it. I'm not speaking about something I read about. I'm speaking about something that I live.
Because you're just as good as a therapist about your relationship, because you live through it.
Yeah.
Of course, there's always tools that we learn from a therapist, or even, like you said before, from a doctor.
Yeah.
That doctor could be your friend.
Yeah.
That doctor could be a neutral person that sheds light and gives you insight on some behavioral things, which, it does make us therapists.
Right.
If we diagnose and analyze and get involved in our personal relationship, right, wrong, or indifferent, at least you're taking the right step.
Right.
You're talking about it.
Right.
You're communicating about it.
Right.
So yeah, I agree, because that can create a lot of division.
Yeah.
When I was married, I had spats, I had differences, and I also had encounters where I felt that, okay, you went outside of this situation to discuss it with people or a person that really had no business involved, and vice versa.
Right.
Because there was times when I probably didn't go in depth with anything about my relationship or about my spouse, but just talking about it was too much.
Yeah.
Meaning, well, why didn't he show up? Well, he chose to go play basketball. Well, that's too much information. You know what I'm saying? Because I should have said, or she should have said, he's just not here today.
Right. Right.
Because it's none of your business why he's not here. I could have slapped him in the face, and he just said, "Hey, I'm cool. I ain't going with you today."
Right.
But they don't need to know that.
Right.
So I think you learn trial and error, but it should be talked about while you're dating.
Yeah. Well, you know what's so funny? You brought up the dating. It's funny because this one particular person that I'm talking about, it's so funny because she asked me, way back when I met her, she had asked me a question about, she said, hey, if my mom or dad didn't like you, would you still date me? And I said, yeah. I said, I'm not dating your mom and dad. I'm dating you.
See, that's good.
So at the end of the day, I don't care if your mom or dad doesn't like me, or if my mom doesn't like you.
Right. I'm not married
with you.
Right.
I'm married to you, or you my girlfriend. So it doesn't matter to me.
That's amazing that you meant.
So so when she said that, I'm thinking like, okay, she's in for the, she's okay, right? She's gonna put me number one in this relationship. Didn't work out that way. So what was you gonna say?
See, I didn't want to interrupt you because I wanted you to finish your point.
Right. Didn't work out that way.
But that's so, to me, what you just said is so profound, because she wanted to know how you felt, and your rebuttal and response was like, cool, I'm all in, because it's about me and you.
It's about me and you. I'm not married to your.
But really, what was cracking was she wasn't cool with them not liking you.
Yeah.
And that's why it came about over time as a problem, because deep down, her wishes was that her family accepts you. And see, that's
what she wanted.
Right.
That's what they really want.
Most people want that.
Right.
Whereas you already said up front, because you were mature about it. You said, check it out. I don't care if they don't like me.
Right.
I don't care if they never like me.
Right. And I don't care if my mom don't like you. I don't care. I'm not marrying my mom. I'm not being
because
you're
number one.
You number one.
And I'm not going to let anything come between that, because I love you and I chose you.
And you're going to be number one.
Dude, somebody needed to hear that.
Yeah.
That was profound, because what we have done is we've taken things for granted, and we have assumed a situation to be what you want it to be without working through it.
Exactly.
No, you need to know.
You need to know this.
And I don't mean to keep bringing up things from the past, but we are talking about this subject, which I can relate to.
Right.
It's close to me. So what I'm saying is, when I was involved at certain points of my marriage, bro, that was an issue.
Or was it?
Major. That was a major issue because, you know how we first of all, we from a real cloth. We from a different type of fabric, and loyalty and respect is numero uno.
Yeah.
Anything outside of that, we got a problem.
Yeah.
And so I always felt like, no, you need to holler at me. You need to make sure that we're cool or we're informed so we can make a decision from there.
Yeah.
You know, don't volunteer me and throw me under the bus
Right.
on some issues that you have a problem with when the issue is with me and you. Whether you feel like you can talk to me about it or not, yeah, you need to hold your peace until we can talk it through or get a therapist in here so we can talk.
No doubt.
You know, so man, really, and I don't mean to get so passionate about it, but I just think that this is a step in the wrong direction when we don't sit down during the dating process.
Oh, no. But the thing about it is, some people do sit down during the dating process and they say all the right things and, oh, yeah, you know, I'm going to make sure that I'm going to take care of my wife and I'm going to take care of my husband. I'm going to take care of my man. I'm going to take care of my woman. But once you pass that whole honeymoon stage, then the real person comes out.
Okay.
You know, and just because I said that this person didn't put me as number one in this relationship, it doesn't mean that she was a horrible person. It just meant that her priorities was all screwed around.
Well, that's what I was saying too. Like we were talking off air earlier.
Yeah.
I was like, they weren't a bad person.
Right.
It wasn't, it's levels to maturity.
Well, listen, I should have knew it was a problem when. Okay, let me set you up with a little example. Okay, let's say you married and your wife comes home after you guys been living in let's say you guys been living in Atlanta for all your life pretty much. Okay. Your wife comes home and say, hey babe, you know, I got a job transfer to Dallas, Texas. You know, we're gonna have to move to Dallas, Texas. What's gonna be your response? Let's go.
Yeah.
You my wife, I'm your, let's roll.
Yeah. Especially because I'm sure she's gonna get in a little more detail.
It doesn't matter.
No, but what I'm saying is you might be making a lateral move.
Right, but what I'm saying,
we ain't doing a lateral move.
Right, but what I'm saying, at the end of the day, if you marry somebody, man or woman, and they have to make a life-changing move, you gotta grow with them.
Yeah, but I'm just
because
saying,
you're the wife and you're the husband.
True,
but what you gonna say? Well, no, I ain't going. I don't want to leave my friends.
Well, no, I mean, if you're not gonna give detail to what we're trying to do,
well, no, it's a job transfer. It's a job transfer that's gonna better our family.
Well, I need to know that.
Right. See, that's they're not saying I'm gonna just go move somewhere because
I thought maybe you was just like, hey, baby, let's go.
No, well, even then, so so you ain't rolling with your wife?
No, not just hey, I feel like let's move. Nah, dude.
No, not just move. I'm just saying if it's gonna better you guys' life, and even if it's for her job,
I need that explained.
See, I don't.
See, you know why?
I don't need it explained.
But your gig might be better.
No, but
what you got going
here? But at the end of the day, we won.
Okay, let me help you with this.
Where's one?
Okay, let me help you.
If she say, look, we got to roll here because I got to go with my wife. I got to go with my husband.
No, you don't.
Yeah, I do.
You know why?
I do.
Well, that ain't the Bible. Because you don't.
We ain't talking about the Bible.
But I'm just saying. I mean, you don't have to follow your wife anywhere. Because you're the spiritual leader of your house.
But you're right. But we're just talking about, we're not bringing spirituality into it. We're not bringing religion into it. We're just talking about your wife or your husband come home and say, I got a promotion. We got to move out of state. You got to go with your husband or wife. You don't just say, well, you know what? You move and I'm going to stay.
Well, that's not wisdom, though. You gotta know what you're getting yourself into.
She just
it may be a bad idea.
Promotion.
Yeah, it could be. Well,
but at the end of the day, see, you missing the point.
How is it? No. What I'm saying is, how is that going to benefit the family because you got a promotion?
No. What I'm saying is, if this is I'm not saying we get ready to go move to Alaska because I like the snow. No. We're gonna move because I got a better position to help our family. We're gonna make more money. It's what it is. Either I move or I don't have a job. What do I do?
Yeah, I mean, I'm just saying. I mean, I need information.
Yeah,
I'm not just going, I'm gonna move. They talking about, giving me a better job. Okay,
no, you already got the job. Yeah, you like.
What does it entail?
Yeah, like Toyota just moved from here in Torrance to Texas.
To Dallas.
Okay, the people that didn't want to go, they gave them a buyout.
Right.
But the people that did go, they paid all their expenses,
right.
moving expenses,
right.
and gave them a bonus to buy a house in Texas.
Right.
So, you know what I'm saying? So what I'm saying is I'm not saying, hey, I'm coming home with a bad decision. I want to move to the North Pole because I want to see Santa Claus.
Well,
that's something different.
I'm just saying you got to get a little more specific because you don't just come home one day and say, "Hey, we out of here."
No, I ain't talking about something dumb. I'm talking about something, if you want to, okay, perfect example, since you want to say, well, no, when you was married, you smashed and said, I'm going to move to Virginia. But you wanted your family to go with you.
But we already talked about that.
Yeah, but you wanted them to, you would rather them be with you than not with you.
That was the package deal.
Right.
That was the package. But she stayed because she didn't want to leave her family.
But that's not what you do, though. If you in a marriage and that's not what you do.
Exactly.
I got to roll with my husband. I got to roll with my wife.
Right.
But that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is it wasn't a fly-by-night decision.
No, I know. Y'all had talked about. You had planned. We had already for more than a year. I know that.
We always wanted to live.
I already know that.
So when it was time to do it, yeah, the window was a lot smaller because you take on a new job. Well, FedEx Corporation, you only got 30 days to start that new gig, or it could be a month and a half. That's a short period of time to just say, oh, we got to pick up everything and roll. So I think a lot of it was fear, but I think the majority of it was they didn't want to leave their family. See, but their mom and dad,
right? See, and
siblings,
exactly. And I've gotten
that wasn't cool.
And my thing is, look, man, I'm telling you right now, if I make a commitment to my wife and my relationship, and my wife hypothetically came home, or my girlfriend or whoever hypothetically came home and said, hey, babe, I got a job. It's going to pay me an extra, $20,000 a year on top of this. I think it'll be a better thing for da-da-da-da, and we talk about it. At the end of the day, I got to roll with my wife, and your wife got to roll with their husband. Now, I'm not saying come home and lead me into some kind of dumb, wise thing. And, I want to move to the mountains because I just like the elevation. Now, that's dumb.
Right.
But if it's going to better you guys' life, then you should try to do that.
Yeah.
Now you're right. I mean, I'm not saying that, you should just, if it comes down, okay, I'm not going to tell my relationship or my wife or my girlfriend, well, look, hey, I'm not going because I don't want to leave my friends and my family.
Yeah, that's different.
I'm your family.
Right.
When you marry each other, you guys are you guys are you guys' family. Right. The two of you.
See,
or your kids or whatever. You guys is the family. Now, your outside family is still your family, and you're going to still love them, but your family is what you married. Yeah. At the end of the day, when you guys lay it down at night, it's you guys. Yeah. It ain't your friends and this and that. It's you guys. Yeah. And I think that's where people kind of miss the point a lot of times.
And then you have to look at what is your relationship standing on. What's the foundation of your relationship? Because like you said, now I'll go back to support your initial statement by saying I got to roll with my wife got to roll with me. I support that because they know your history. They know your character. They know what kind of guy you are.
They know how you get down.
You can come through the door with some flowers and say, we out of here. I just got a promotion, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
We talked about me possibly getting a promotion. It came through today. They called me in and they said, hey, man, we want to relocate you, give you an extra 20 grand. We're going to pay your expenses. And when you tell her that, she's going to say, let's do it, babe.
That's what I'm saying.
Because she know your history, though.
But
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
She got confidence in you as being the leader of her family, of the family, and vice versa. You trust your wife, and you saying, oh, she got a better gig? Oh, this going to be all right. And then you might have a flexible career to where you can pick up and roll. See, my ex, she really did have a flexible career. She's a licensed stylist. Yeah, you can always gain more clients anywhere you go if you're good, but bro, it was just total rebellion. And I knew out of my, because mom didn't want me to go.
Right.
She don't, but see, mom is fearful of a lot of things.
Yeah.
My whole thing was, and I'm just being real, Mac.
Keep it 100.
Solely, I was trying to do something better for my family.
I know that.
I went there to work, bro.
I know that.
I didn't go there like, oh, this is a wonderful.
I already know that.
I took a job to better
I already know
our lives.
I already know that.
That was my intent. It wasn't selfish.
I already know that.
It wasn't like never talked about. My ex told me the timing was bad.
Well,
I said,
I just think
I'm rolling.
Yeah, I just think if it was more people that was in solid relationships and solid marriages, and they need to understand that we're one.
Yeah.
And we're one. And if your husband come home and say, hey babe, damn, we got to take a trip to the moon. Okay, baby, when we leaving?
See, I know you.
That's what I'm talking about.
See,
that's what I'm talking about. Hey, when we going?
And see, I know you so well to where if you came home and made that decision, your ducks is lined up. You've always been efficient with your money. You've been great with your finances. You've been responsible. So for you to come through the doors and say that, now I'm not saying that maybe that wasn't in the back of my ex-wife's mind.
Right.
Man, this dude might be leading us over a cliff.
Woo!
I'm not saying that, but if you did have that fear, you should have talked about it. Right. But I'm not going to lure my family into a ditch.
Right.
So coming from that standpoint, knowing what kind of guy you are and how calculated you are, I would be confident. And then knowing that the career that your spouse has and possess and the skill set, I know she would be all right too. If she came home and told you, say, hey man,
we gotta roll.
We gotta go. Because she is it's there.
In a nutshell, all I'm really saying in a nutshell is I think that when people get involved in a fulfilling, solid relationship and they live together, or they're husband and wife, they just need to understand that they need to put each other number one.
Yeah.
Everybody else is secondary or third or fourth.
Okay.
And I think once the people in those relationships realize that they need to put their wives and their girlfriend, well, let's just use the word wife, because we'll have some controversy when we say girlfriend, because the first thing the women will be like, you need to put a ring on it. So you can't tell me nothing until. So let's not even talk about girlfriend. We're gonna talk about husband and wife.
Okay.
They need to understand that they need to put each other number one and number one.
No.
And I think if both people understand that, not your mother. Your mother's not number one, mama's boys out there.
Yeah.
And for you women, and your daddy ain't, number one out there. It's your husband, and it's your wife. It's not mommy, and it's not daddy, and it's not your friends.
Right. Oh,
it's it's you two.
Yeah.
Number one. And I think the friend that we're talking about, I think if he had done that and realized,
he wouldn't have had the problem.
He wouldn't have the problem that he had. Yeah. Like, look, man, I know that you a mama's boy. I know how much you love your mom. I know I've been around you all my life. But you walked down the aisle with this lady a long time ago.
You made a vow to her.
Almost 3 decades ago.
Okay.
She needed to be number one. Period.
Mm-hmm.
And if she had been number one, okay, if you can't at least make her number one, at least compromise.
No, she gotta be number one.
Right, but what I'm saying is, if you can't make her number one, at least say, okay, if I'm gonna do this for mommy, okay, I gotta make sure I take care of my wife as well. If I'm gonna go do this with mom, I gotta make sure, okay, wife, you know what? Let's go, on a trip, a few times a year, or whatever the case may be. You gotta try to make up for it in some kind of way. Yeah. If you ain't gonna make her or him number one, you gotta try to make up for it in some kind of way.
How about doing how about showing your spouse a priority by saying, honey, you and I take our trip every year.
Right.
Us. It's gonna be fun, romantic, all the above. Exploration.
Right.
And then let's just say she want to do something local also. So let's just say we take our spouses on an excursion 2 times a year. Well, if you want to do something with your parents, make it a family trip to where now you can spend some time with your parents as well as your immediate family. And now everybody is enjoying family day. Your parents are a couple. They're going to be off doing their thing too. Your kids are going to be with their cousins. And so, do you see what I'm saying?
No, I get it.
Let's have a family trip, but ain't nobody going to be involved with my spouse.
Right.
That's me and her.
But at the end of the day, the family trip is cool.
Yeah.
But trust me, these women, they want to just be with their husband.
No,
they want the family trip is cool.
That's what I'm saying.
But
take your wife wherever you guys deem to go.
Right.
Like you guys were going to Hawaii quite a bit, which you enjoyed it. So now that became sort of like a place where you both enjoyed, right? So now you know ain't nobody gonna be a priority over this. She wants to go here every year, or she wants to switch it up and go to the Bahamas or whatever. Like, I think to me, that's showing her that she's number one. That's showing him that he's number one. Oh, you know, my husband, he loves the Bahamas, or he loves Miami. I gotta get this trip together for him because this is one of his favorite places, and then we can be together.
Yeah.
Me and him.
No, I dig it. I mean, the you and him is good. The family stuff is good. But our boy we talking about, he dropped the ball.
Yeah, I mean,
and then you can't. Come on, you can't move back home.
Well, no,
with your wife.
Well,
at
least not permanently.
Right.
It has to be a transition.
Right.
It has to be,
right.
It has to be set up to
and
where,
and that makes it even worse. And I love all the people that we talking about. And they know who they are. Me and you know who they are. And I love them all.
Yeah.
I mean, I think I love him. I love his mom. I love his whole family.
Yeah.
I love his wife. But at the end of the day, that is your wife, and she's number one, and vice versa.
No, of course.
And she can't be competing against your mother.
Right.
Because she'll never win.
Yeah. Or your kids.
She'll never win.
Well,
you got to make your wife or your husband number one.
True. I agree.
Period. And I think if the man has to know that he's number one, and the wife has to know that she's number one. Once they know that, then they can be able to have a better understanding on if things happen during the relationship. They can say, okay, well, at least I know I'm number one. This happened or whatever, but I know my wife or my husband puts me number one.
Yeah.
If the wife feels like she knows she's not number one, she's probably number 5 or 6, and vice versa with the husband.
Yeah.
That's a problem, man.
Well, yeah, it's gonna be a problem.
That's gonna be a problem.
My last comment to this is this. When you start out dating, courting, or eventually in marriage, because I think we were specifying marriage.
Right.
I think a lot of these things, they must be discussed and understood.
Right.
Because without and I listen, I'm not throwing my ex under the bus. I'm not throwing that situation. It was a great learning experience. And I believe that if we could go back and do it a specific way in the beginning, it would be helpful.
Right.
I'm not going to say that it would have
worked,
but I will say that we would have gave ourselves a better chance if we would have really sat down and said, look, we got to get in depth with these things that you're not comfortable with. See, we talked about a lot of great things, but the in-depthness of it to where you could understand and eventually make the sacrifice. Dude, I had to make a lot of sacrifices.
I know.
But at the end of the day, I felt like they should have been reciprocated, and we should have been that kind of team.
I already know.
So I think to those that are listening, I would just propose this: establish the communication in the beginning and have the hard talks. But I can hear you saying, which is a valid point, that some people are just the way they are. some people are just it's woven in their fabric.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna throw it to you, let you put your last touches on it. But great topic.
Okay. Yeah. Just in closing, I just think that in those situations, I think maturity is what it is. I think the man needs to be mature enough in the relationship to know how to be in one and be in a marriage, and vice versa with the wife. I think if the husband and wife go into a marriage and they both know what it is to be a husband and to be a wife, and to know that both of those parties, they both come number one and nobody else can even penetrate that, I think it'll be a solid relationship. So, in closing, guys, I just want to say thanks, and thanks for tuning in and listening. If you guys like the content, make sure you like, subscribe, share, Facebook Live. Keep on tuning in. This is kind of what we do. We're going to try to bring it to you every week live. So we go live on IG, and we go live on Facebook, and we have a YouTube page, so you guys can go to that and view all our other podcasts that we've done. We got probably over 50 of them. Them brothers from Inglewood. Type it in and you'll see it. So in closing, guys, peace and love. Thanks for tuning in. We love you. Peace.